Welcome to True and Unpolished, the podcast, a Cusp culture production. Through this podcast, our intention is to uplift, inspire, and amuse.
Let's get authentic. Hey, everybody, it's Lydia.
And this is Mary.
And we are here today to talk about the magic of Christmas. Actually, we're here to talk about the magic of life, but this time gave Mary some thoughts, and she shared a story with me yesterday, and I think it's really purposeful for us to talk about today. So Mary, why don't you start us off with a story about the magic of Christmas?
So I've been, as I've been wandering in my neighborhood, going on walks and that sort of thing, I noticed that people started decorating earlier this year, and I've seen people posting on Facebook all the way back. I mean, people started decorating in like October before Halloween. And so I was thinking about this whole idea of the magic of Christmas and this time when my daughter was about 3 years old. So she has no memory of this thing that I did, but I was... when she was about 3 years old, I was tucking her into bed, and I told her that Santa Claus wasn't a real person, and Santa Claus was just made up.
Right.
And so and then later, she didn't really care. I mean, it wasn't a big deal for her. So later, when I told her dad that what I had done, he simply said, "Don't ever do that again."
Right.
So I said, okay. And
so why did you tell her that?
Well, I told her because I wanted her to know, I wanted to teach her that, one, I wanted to be honest with her. Actually, right. That's why I told her. I wanted to be honest with her. And and I didn't want to have to deal with the trauma of finding out that Santa wasn't real. I thought I would just go ahead and tell her. But also because at that time, I've said before that she was my teacher, and there was so much magic having this young child in my life, and I was really kind of awakening to that magic at that time. And so it was really being intentional about honoring the magic of life and not sort of
relegating it to one specific thing or one specific
specific moment in her experience, or trying to kind of hold on to magic through that one thing, like the magic of Christmas.
Well, I have to say that I relate, the part of your story that I really relate to is the truth part. I had the same thing and still have the same thoughts about my sons are 10 and 8, and they still believe in Santa Claus. And actually it's really region specific, I think. Where we live, it feels like the kids believe in Santa. I mean, I don't even know when it stops. Like every year I keep thinking maybe this is when. And funny story, I remember I was listening to the kids. This was like last year or something, obviously, because there were other kids in our house here playing, and that doesn't happen now. But they were upstairs playing in their room, and I heard my son say to the neighbor, or the neighbor said, "Well, I want this thing, but it's really too expensive. It costs blah, blah, blah." And Kai said, "Don't worry, just ask for it for Christmas. Then no one has to pay for it." It's like, yeah, this myth we're perpetuating is really not good for my pocketbook. But so I relate to the being honest thing. Everybody that knows me knows that I am. I don't know what is this about me? Like I feel like, is it the cerebral part? Is it an autistic part? I don't know. I just feel like we should all just be, speaking the truth. That's just the way that I am. And sometimes I'm a little bit too blunt, I think. But I had that thought too. It's like I'm lying to my children. And so I talked to their dad about that. And what I have come to see is that, you know, for me, the right balance is both and. Like they have such magic and wonder in this time. But the truth is, my kids have magic and wonder all the time. Like I do, foster that within them. We do look for the magic every day. We do talk about, the sixth sense and synchronicities and, oh my gosh, and, kind of stare and wonder at things. And so, I think that it's fine for them to have this. And, the people decorating before Halloween. So first of all, another region thing about here is that people here decorate right after Halloween, like November 1st, because people here decorate like I've seen this to my sons yesterday. Like they have spring decorations and fall decorations and Christmas decorations. And like there's outdoor decorations for like every season. Like I told y'all, there's mom season, and, there's mom season happens right before Halloween decorations. Like there's like an order to all this. Anyway, so I did not notice the decorations going up early because they always go up early on November 1st. And part of that is because the ground freezes here. That's what everybody says. The ground freezes. And so you want to get your stuff into the ground. But I see what you were talking about, Mary, with people decorating in October. I think what's happening is like, that's an expression of hope. Like people are reaching for it, right? They're reaching for the magic. And I bet, and did you have a thought on that? Like, is that what you're thinking is happening for them with the October thing? What do you think's happening, Mary?
Well, I think that it is reaching for the magic because we find that those moments, we have these memories, and I think they're probably isolated memories that we're trying to hold on to from the past, from our childhood. So we're holding on to the memories. And so I guess my question is, how do we do that? So, it's not to give up the magic of Christmas or stop creating magic of Christmas. I have a friend who has talked about the anxiety about, and I know a lot of people feel this way, but the anxiety of making sure all of the children have a fair number of gifts, and making sure that, no one is feeling slighted. And so there are all these things that we do to kind of hold on to the magic. And in that we're killing it. In the holding on to the magic, we suffocate and take all of the life out of the experience. And so how do we shift into a place where the magic is honoring the moment, and whatever moment that is, instead of chasing it or holding on to it?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I totally relate to that too, because I remember, I don't think it was last year, but well, it's every year. So my big thing that I do to try to hang on to the magic that kills the magic is it's the Santa paper. Like, you have to wrap, and if I cannot wrap the presents from, my husband and I to the kids in the same paper, because if I wrap it in the paper that's from the Santa gifts, then that means they're going to know that there's no Santa. Like I have this thing where like, I don't want to be the one to tell them. Like it went from me wanting to tell them the truth to me not wanting to be the one that kills it. And so I have this, oh my gosh, I got to make sure the paper's right.
So the Santa paper, I have never ventured into that. Actually, we never, or I never gave gifts from me to my daughter.
So they were all Santa.
We just did Santa, and so even now she's older and she knows, but so now everything gets put out on Christmas Eve. So I didn't know about the Santa paper being a thing.
Oh, well, I don't know if anybody else has it. I mean, what you just said makes total sense to me. Like, why am I doing this? No, because I was just talking to my neighbor and she's like, oh, this is what they asked for from Santa. So I have to get the Santa list stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she was going, I'm not kidding you. She was going every single day to multiple Targets. This is not an exaggeration, for 2 weeks because she was trying to get football cards. Her sons and my sons are obsessed with football cards, right? And so she's like, did you find the football cards? I'm like, I didn't really find the football cards. She's like, but they're on the list from Santa to Santa. I need to do, the football cards. So she's going. And then she called me a few days ago and she's like, I'm here and I found them. The guy came out, I went in, they weren't there. I went to another place in the mall, came back, and the guy was wheeling out the football cards. You just thought she won the lottery. And she said, so I grabbed one of the boxes, but then there's another box. And I said, do you have another one? And he said, no. And then I saw that there was one in his cart. So I took it anyway. And he gave me a dirty look because he didn't want me to take, because there's a football card shortage, y'all. And that is another thing about this year. Oh my gosh, I will go off on Christmas, y'all.
The shortages. And I had this thought. I'm like, you know what? Still, during a pandemic, during this moment, I still can go and buy Christmas presents for my kids. You know what I mean? Like in all honesty, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, it really says kind of that, where our priorities are.
Yeah. It's not a judgment. I felt lucky. I felt fortunate, but I really felt like it really drew a line between our suffering and the suffering of people in third world nations. You know what I mean? Like we're in this pandemic and it's hard, but it ain't third world, guys. Like I can still go buy a Lego set. I got a Minions Lego set yesterday. What the H is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So it's not about feeling guilty. It's about recognizing that, we really are doing well. And I know that there are some people that are really, really suffering, but I feel very fortunate that, I'm not.
Well, I think they're, having gratitude for that is a good, and maybe that's it, is that when we take the time to pause and feel grateful for all of it, the suffering, the pain, the difficulties, then that's when the magic can kind of come.
Yeah. And I have to say that I have felt magic this year shopping, and I've never, well, not never, but it's rare that I've felt magic while shopping. And let me tell you why. It's because
Tell me why.
Wait for it. You ready?
It's because what is
we
it?
Don't do anything. There is no break and monotony and routine. And so I'm like, oh yay, I'll go to the mall. We have lived here 4 years on January 1st. I had been to the mall one time, never. I only went into the food court part where they had an indoor play area so the boys could play because it was winter time. I never even walked into the mall. And now in the past month, I have been 3 times. Like literally.
Wow.
So, but I do it because I get to walk around and I'm like, oh, I'm walking around and there's things to see, I really am in like wonder of it. Like it feels fun. It feels good just to be out. So yeah, I think that there are ways to, so that's what we could do. So if we can observe like everybody that put out their decorations in October, not just them, all of us, but let's think about that. If we all just started to observe what we're doing with this wonder thing, because I think what's happened is, I would say if you ask.
Hold on. What do you mean by wonder? Wonder thing.
Okay. So what I mean is, so I remember the moment where Christmas came, and when at some time in my adolescence, and I remember I was sitting in my dad's chair. My dad had a chair that was his chair in our living room. And I was sitting in my dad's chair and the Christmas tree was there. And I remember going, what happened? It doesn't feel magical anymore. Like it doesn't feel that way anymore. I remember it. It was lost.
Well, expectation. What I remember is having, when the year that I had expectations
Oh, expectations. Well, see,
So sometime in adolescence, I was, and I had expectations, and disappointment that I didn't get what I thought I should get or what I wanted.
well, but see, this was my moment was before Christmas had happened. So nothing had happened to disappoint me. I was just like, why don't I feel it? Why is it gone? Why is
Okay.
that excitement gone? So all these people that have put up their decorations in October, I would say that there are a bunch of people who, like me, at some time in adolescence, the magic left and they are getting the magic back. And so the key is you're getting the magic back. You're getting the magic back because this is a hard moment with this pandemic going on. So you're reaching for the hope. So now the key is, yes, reach for the magic. And now let's bring it with us. Like we're getting it back because of this contrast of upset and of pandemic-y. That's not a word. I just made it up. Hashtag tweet. You guys can take that. But we're getting it back because of its opposite.
That's so generous of you.
I'm a giver. I'm a giver.
So we're getting by reaching for it, by shopping earlier or putting up our decorations earlier, or however we choose to do that, we're actually getting it back. Yeah. So I wonder if we could talk about other, like, so enjoy the magic, have gratitude, let go of your our expectations of how things should be, but also what are some ways that we have magic in our life every day.
Do you want me to tell you what the practice that I just got? And I might have already told y'all this. So if I told you this, it's purposeful that you're hearing it again. Okay, everybody? Okay, so Elizabeth Gilbert, I did this workshop, and Elizabeth Gilbert said that you need to write a letter from your enchantment to you. And it goes like this, and I've done it. Dear Lydia, this is your enchantment. Here is what I want to tell you. I love it when, and then you write, set a timer for 5 minutes and just write. I love it when you blank. I love it when mine said, I love it when you wear hats. And so I got a bunch of hats, and now I've been wearing fun hats because it's wintertime and I can't. And well, I can wear them anytime I want. I'll probably wear them out when it's not wintertime, but I feel like Mary Tyler Moore. I haven't done the twirl and the toss up, but anywho. So, dear Lydia, I'm your enchantment. Here's what I want to tell you. I love it when, and then you read that, and I promise you go do that. Those are your instructions. Whatever is on that enchantment letter. I love it. I love it when you find funny memes and crack yourself up. I love it when. That's your enchantment. That's how you cultivate it, and it's a great practice.
Yeah, I've tried that too. And I think for me, it's noticing like animals in nature. That's a big one for me. So the hawk is one of my favorites, and the hawk is messenger for spirit. And I see hawks, and also just birds of prey in general. I put them all in the same category. They're all hawks to me, unless I'm up close enough. And so anyway, the hawk symbolizes messenger of spirit. And so if I see an animal, then I'll look it up and and the symbolism, and just take a moment and appreciate that magic that shows up. And oftentimes there's a message that I get from when I see an animal.
Yeah. And so for you, you're enchanted because you are seeing that the universe is talking to you, and that it feels amazing. So what I'll say is the enchantment letter, what is wondrous to you, what cultivates the magic in you, will be very individualized. Mary just shared one that is very specific to her. You might have that in common with her, but your list isn't going to be the exact same as my list. And that's why, I could sit here and read you my enchantment letter, and you go, well, wearing hats doesn't make me feel wondrous. And, and that's fine because it's varied. But guess what? Your enchantment wants to talk to you, and the magic is here, and the magic can stay. If we're not feeling the magic, it's not because the magic left. It's because we're not noticing it. Right?
Amen.
All right. Write that down, everybody. Well, this has been amazing as always. Thank you, Mary, and thank you guys for listening. You've been listening to True and Unpolished, the podcast. Let's see what happens next.